Mr. Millionaire witnessed a man being humiliated by the shopping mall's security guards and a McDonald's manager, and gave them the greatest lesson of their lives. Picture the scene. A man in tattered clothes asking for just a bit of food is treated like garbage, pushed and ridiculed in front of a crowd of wealthy customers who either look away or laugh at his shame. But what no one could have imagined is that this man was an actor, hired by the enigmatic Mr. Millionaire, a disguised multimillionaire who uses social experiments to expose people's true nature. What happened next, in the most upscale shopping mall in Los Angeles, will leave you speechless, make you reflect on your own biases, and keep you glued to the story until the end. Is wealth in your wallet or in your heart? Get ready for an epic tale of prejudice, redemption, and a lesson broadcast live to millions that shook the foundations of an elite shopping mall, changed lives, and inspired a global movement against discrimination. It was a vibrant afternoon in Los Angeles, and the Century City Mall, the city's temple of luxury, pulsed with energy. Its corridors gleamed with storefronts from brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Rolex, displaying handbags worth a worker's annual salary, watches that looked like museum jewels, and shoes that shone like trophies of ostentation. Elegant men and women paraded with glossy shopping bags, while tourists snapped selfies in front of marble fountains adorned with LED lights, and teens recorded TikTok videos, dancing to pop songs blaring through the speakers. At the heart of the mall, the McDonald's with its neon lights and unmistakable aroma of fries was an eclectic meeting point. Families with kids running between tables, suited executives grabbing a quick coffee, and young people with headphones devouring burgers while scrolling through Instagram. But that afternoon, the fast food restaurant was about to become the epicenter of an event that would be etched into the mall's history and beyond. Before continuing with the video, rush to the pinned link in the comments and get a copy of the ebook The Secret of the Rich, 7 Steps to Financial Abundance. Grab a copy of this ebook that has already changed the lives of thousands worldwide. A man entered the McDonald's, moving slowly through the crowded tables as if afraid to draw attention. He wore a tattered gray t-shirt with torn sleeves and dark stains suggesting days, perhaps weeks, without washing. His faded, ripped jeans, dirty at the hem, dragged across the mall's glossy floor. On his feet, worn-out sneakers with peeling soles made a sad sound with each step, and an old cap, its logo nearly faded, partially covered his face, revealing an unkempt beard and eyes that seemed to carry an invisible weight. He clutched a frayed canvas backpack with tattered straps and a broken zipper, revealing a folded blanket, a half-empty water bottle, and some crumpled papers, perhaps old receipts or tickets. To everyone there, he looked like a homeless person, out of place in this world of glamour and wealth, where appearance dictated who belonged and who was an intruder. But the truth was far different. This man was an actor, carefully chosen by Mr. Millionaire, an eccentric multimillionaire known for social experiments that challenge prejudices and reveal human character. The actor's mission was clear yet powerful. Approach customers at the McDonald's politely asking for a burger, some fries, or even a glass of water, and observe how he would be received in an environment where judging by appearance seemed to be the norm. The actor began his approach cautiously, choosing a table where 4 young people were eating, laughing loudly and filming Instagram stories. In a low voice, almost a whisper, he said, "Sorry to bother you, but I'm really hungry. Could you help me with some food? Anything would do, even bread." The group paused, exchanged awkward glances, and one of them, without looking up from his phone, replied, "Dude, we don't have anything. Try outside, on the street." The actor thanked them, despite receiving no help, and moved to another table where a middle-aged couple was eating nuggets and sipping soda. He repeated his request, explaining he hadn't eaten since the day before. The woman pulled her tray closer, as if he might steal it, and said curtly, "This isn't the place for that. Leave." Her husband, without looking, muttered something about beggars invading the mall. The actor tried another table, where a man in a suit, with a shiny watch on his wrist and AirPods, looked at him with disdain and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "What nerve! Isn't there a shelter for these people? This is a mall, not a hostel." The tension in the McDonald's grew like a wave. Customers whispered, pointed, some laughed under their breath, others took photos with their phones, treating the man like a curiosity, an unwanted spectacle. A mother pulled her young child closer, murmuring not to go near that dirty man. A group of teens near the window started recording, laughing and commenting, "Look at this guy, what a scene." The once light atmosphere now felt like a courtroom, with the actor, in his tattered clothes, as the condemned defendant with no right to defend himself. That's when Brad, the McDonald's manager, a 45-year-old man in an impeccable polo shirt, gelled hair, and a badge reading "Shift Manager," noticed the commotion. With a look of disgust, he approached the actor, speaking loudly to draw attention. "Hey, you! This isn't a charity kitchen. Get out now, or I'll call security." The actor tried to explain calmly, "Sir, I'm just hungry. I don't want to bother anyone. I just need something to eat." But Brad cut him off, pointing to the door. "I don't care about your story. You're scaring my customers. Out, now." Before the actor could respond, 2 mall security guards appeared, as if expecting the call. Tony, a burly man with visible tattoos on his arm and an intimidating stare, grabbed the actor's shoulder firmly, while Mike, leaner but with an aggressive stance, pushed him toward the exit, saying, "We don't want beggars here. Leave before this gets worse. This isn't your place." The scene was humiliating, almost theatrical in its cruelty. The actor, still in character, lowered his head and left the McDonald's, escorted by the guards like a criminal. Customers watched, some in uneasy silence, others laughing and recording videos, treating the humiliation as entertainment. A teen posted the scene on Snapchat with the caption, "Look at the beggar getting kicked out, LOL." Another customer, a woman with a designer handbag, turned to her friend and said, "Finally, someone did something. These people shouldn't even be allowed in here." The actor exited the mall, disappearing into the street crowd, but the story was just beginning. What no one knew was that every second of the scene was being recorded. Mr. Millionaire, hidden among the customers, watched everything from a corner, with a professional film crew capturing the situation in high definition, from the customers' scornful looks to Brad's arrogance and the guards' brutality. He had seen enough to know it was time to step in, and his entrance would be unforgettable. An hour later he returned to the Century City Mall, but now as his true self, a man in a tailored gray suit, gold cufflinks Italian shoes so polished they reflected the marble floor, and a Patek Philippe watch worth more than the entire inventory of any store there. His face, however, showed restrained indignation, a determination that made people turn to look, sensing something big was about to happen. He walked straight to the McDonald's, where Brad, the manager, was still giving orders to employees with an air of superiority, as if nothing had happened. Mr. Millionaire asked to speak with the manager and, without preamble, got to the point. "Are you the one responsible for kicking out a man who asked for food here today?" Brad, confused but maintaining his composure, replied, "Yes, he was a beggar, bothering customers. I did what I had to do to keep order. This is a high-end mall." Mr. Millionaire looked at him with a gaze that seemed to pierce his soul and said, "That man wasn't a beggar. He was an actor, hired by me. He wasn't begging. He was testing the humanity of the people in this mall. And you, Brad, failed miserably." The manager paled, his hands trembling as he tried to process the words. Employees stopped what they were doing, and customers at nearby tables began listening, creating a tense silence that seemed to engulf the restaurant. Mr. Millionaire continued, his voice firm but calm. "You judged someone by their clothes, their appearance, without even trying to understand who they were. Do you think this mall is only for the rich? Do you think a hungry man doesn't belong here? Well, I'll show you what real wealth is." He pulled out his phone, opened Instagram, and started a live stream. which within minutes had 50,000 viewers, the number growing exponentially like an unstoppable wave. In the stream, he showed the inside of the McDonald's, Brad's stunned face, and the guards, Tony and Mike, who now tried to slip away from the spotlight as if wishing to vanish. "This is the Century City Mall, the fanciest mall in Los Angeles," he said to the audience. "But look how they treat someone who looks poor. This manager and these guards humiliated a man just because he was badly dressed. This is what happens when prejudice speaks louder than empathy." He pointed the camera at Brad, who looked like he wanted to disappear, and asked, "Brad, do you think wealth is what's in your pocket? Because the man you kicked out today has more worth than you'll ever have if you keep treating people like this." The stream exploded with comments, with thousands of people outraged, sharing stories of discrimination they faced in stores, restaurants, hotels, and even on the street. The hashtag #GockJustice at the mall began trending, appearing among the top topics on Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok, where clips of the stream were remixed with supportive messages. Mr. Millionaire turned to Brad and asked, with a calm that made the question even heavier, "If I walked in here in old clothes, would you kick me out? Or do you only respect those who look rich?" Brad stammered, mumbling something about mall policies, but Mr. Millionaire cut him off. "Policies don't justify treating someone like trash. You had the chance to help, to listen, to show a shred of humanity. You chose to humiliate." He then looked at Tony and Mike, who stood silent, visibly ashamed, their eyes fixed on the floor. "You have uniforms. You have authority. But that doesn't make you better than anyone. You used your power to hurt, to intimidate. What kind of men do you want to be? Men who push out the weak or who protect the vulnerable?" The crowd in the McDonald's grew, with customers gathering to listen, some recording with their phones, others clapping, as the stream hit 200,000 viewers. Mr. Millionaire addressed everyone. "And you, who ignored, who laughed, who turned away when a man asked for help, we can all do better. Wealth isn't the clothes you wear, the car you drive, or the credit card in your pocket. It's what you do when no one's watching." At this moment, I ask you to like this video and subscribe to the Healthy Heart channel, where we share stories that inspire real change. In the pinned comment, you'll find the ebook, The Secret of the Rich. 7 Steps to Financial Abundance, a guide that has already transformed thousands of lives. Download it now, share this video with someone who needs this message, and together, let's spread empathy. But Mr. Millionaire's lesson was just beginning. He announced on the stream that he would donate $30,000 in food to shelters and organizations supporting the homeless in Los Angeles, challenging the McDonald's and the Century City Mall to match the donation. "Not next week, not next month. Today," he said with a firmness that made the crowd erupt in applause. Brad, under pressure, promised to take the proposal to his superiors, but Mr. Millionaire shook his head with a slight smile. "Don't promise, Brad. Do it. And start by treating every person who walks in here like a human, not a problem." He then called the guards, Tony and Mike, to step forward. "You have an important job, but you need to remember that every person who crosses that door has a story, a struggle, a dream. Use your uniform to help, to protect, not to intimidate. Be men of value, not violence." The stream continued, now with over 500,000 viewers, and Mr. Millionaire brought the actor back to the McDonald's. This time, he was dressed in a blue polo shirt, new jeans, and white sneakers, looking like an ordinary guy, perhaps a teacher or an app driver. Brad and the guards were stunned, realizing they had judged a man for no reason, based solely on his appearance. Mr. Millionaire looked at them and said, "This is the same man you kicked out. He didn't change. Only his clothes did. What does that say about you? About what you value?" He asked Brad to serve the actor a full meal, charged to his account, and ensured the McDonald's staff would undergo training in humane customer service. "I want every employee here to learn to look into the eyes of those who walk in, not at their wallet," he said with a conviction that silenced the restaurant. But Mr. Millionaire didn't stop at the McDonald's. He took his lesson to the rest of the mall, still streaming, now watched by people worldwide from New York to Tokyo. He walked through the gleaming corridors, stopping at designer stores where employees often ignore customers who don't seem suitable. At his first stop, a high-end jewelry store, he asked a saleswoman, "If I were that badly dressed man, would you serve me with the same smile?" The saleswoman hesitated, stammering an evasive response that the stream captured, sparking a wave of online criticism. He repeated the question at a luxury clothing store, where the manager tried to justify differential treatment with service standards. Mr. Millionaire cut him off. "Your standards exclude people. That's not luxury, it's prejudice." In every store, he challenged employees to reflect on their attitudes, and the message resonated like thunder. True wealth lies in respect, kindness, and the courage to treat everyone as equals. He also stopped at an upscale cafe, asking the barista, "If a man in tattered clothes asked for a glass of water, would you give it to him? Or would you say he has to buy something?" The barista, nervous, admitted he'd probably ask him to leave. Mr. Millionaire looked at the stream's camera and said, "Water is free in most places. But empathy, that seems rarer than diamonds." The crowd now following him through the mall, made up of curious customers and even some store employees, applauded at every stop. He entered a cutting-edge electronics store where a salesperson tried to change the subject when asked about treating different people. Mr. Millionaire didn't let it slide. "You sell cutting-edge tech, but your service is stuck in the last century. Change it." Back at the McDonald's, Mr. Millionaire gathered Brad, Tony, Mike, and the other employees for a final lesson, with the stream now surpassing 1 million viewers. You have a chance to change. It's not about the mistake you made today, but what you do tomorrow. Be the first to set the example. Greet those who walk in, listen to those who ask for help, treat every person like they're the most important in the world. Because, deep down, they are. He then left 3 envelopes on the table, one with $5,000 to be split among employees who, in the coming days, proved they understood the lesson, another with $2,000 for the actor, as thanks for his courage, and a third with $1,000 for a McDonald's employee, a young cashier named Sarah, who, during the chaos, had discreetly offered the actor a glass of water before Brad intervened. "Sarah, you were the only one here who showed humanity without expecting anything in return," Mr. Millionaire said. "Use this money for something that makes you smile." But Mr. Millionaire's mission went beyond the mall. He took his message to the streets of Los Angeles, visiting a local shelter where he personally donated the $30,000 in food, ensuring families and individuals experiencing homelessness had dignified meals for weeks. He invited the press to cover the donation, amplifying the story's reach, and challenged other businesses in the city to follow suit. "If a mall can learn, anyone can," he told reporters. The stream, now with over 10 million views, inspired influencers, activists, and even celebrities to share messages about empathy and equality. Newspapers like the Los Angeles Times, New York Post, Washington Post, and even the BBC covered the story, with headlines like "Disguised Millionaire Demands Justice at Luxury Mall," Mr. Millionaire's Lesson, "Wealth is Character," and "How a Social Experiment Changed a Mall Forever." CNN dedicated a 10-minute segment to the case, interviewing behavioral experts who praised Mr. Millionaire's approach as a turning point in the fight against prejudice. The Century City Mall, under public pressure, issued an official apology, announced an anti-discrimination training program for all employees, and donated $20,000 to organizations supporting the homeless. The local McDonald's went further, pledging $15,000 in meals for underserved communities and reviewing its customer service policies, implementing a protocol to ensure requests for help are treated with respect. Brad, the manager, was profoundly shaken. He stepped down as manager but stayed on as an employee, working the cash register to relearn how to see people. He also began volunteering at a local shelter, serving meals and listening to the stories of people he would have previously ignored. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, he admitted, I was blind. I thought my job was to protect the mall, but I learned it's to treat people with dignity. Mr. Millionaire gave me a second chance. Tony and Mike, the guards, completely changed their approach. They became known in the mall for greeting everyone with a smile, helping with heavy bags, offering water to tired visitors, and even chatting with kids running by. Their colleagues nicknamed them the New Guardians, and their transformation inspired other mall guards to follow suit. They even started a small support group in the mall, where employees discussed ways to make the environment more welcoming. Tony, in particular, began bringing snacks to homeless people he encountered near the mall, using his own money. "I never want to be the guy who pushes someone out again," he said in an Instagram video that received thousands of likes. The actor, who preferred to keep his identity anonymous, used the $2,000 donated by Mr. Millionaire to pay for an acting course in Los Angeles, dreaming of one day telling his own story on stage or screen. In an anonymous interview with the local press, he said, "I was humiliated for an hour, but Mr. Millionaire turned that into a lesson that will last forever. He made me feel like my role mattered." The story continued to inspire, with schools, universities, and companies using the stream's video and training sessions on diversity, inclusion, and combating prejudice. The hashtag #JustIce at the Mall stayed among the top trends for weeks, and community movements in Los Angeles began organizing events to fight discrimination, many funded by anonymous donations rumored to come from Mr. Millionaire himself. The story also sparked a broader cultural impact. Street artists in Los Angeles created murals inspired by Mr. Millionaire's lesson, depicting a badly dressed man with an invisible crown, symbolizing human dignity. A song called "True Wealth," written by local rapper, sampled parts of the stream and topped independent charts with lyrics like, "It's not what you wear, it's what you do. Wealth is the love you give, not what you bring." High schools in Los Angeles included the story in ethics classes, using it to discuss empathy, prejudice, and social responsibility. Even companies outside retail, like tech startups and banks, began citing the case in corporate training programs, emphasizing the importance of treating everyone with respect. Mr. Millionaire, true to his style, returned to anonymity, planning his next mission. But before disappearing, he left a final message on the stream, now with over 20 million views. If you're watching, do your part. Treat people with respect, help those in need, challenge prejudice wherever it is. It doesn't matter if you have $1 or $1 billion. What matters is what you do with what you have. Together, we can change the world, one attitude at a time. And, as always, he closed with his signature phrase, "True wealth isn't in what you have, but in what you do with it." This story isn't just about a mall, a McDonald's, or a badly dressed man. It's about all of us. It's about the choices we make every day, to ignore, to judge, or to help. It's about recognizing that true wealth lies in empathy, in the courage to do what's right, in the humility to learn from mistakes. It's about understanding that every person, regardless of the clothes they wear or the money they have, carries a story, a dream, a struggle. Mr. Millionaire challenges us to look beyond appearances, to build bridges instead of walls, to turn moments of prejudice into opportunities for growth. He reminds us that money can buy designer clothes, luxury cars, or expensive watches, but only character builds a legacy that lasts generations. As we bring this incredible story to a close, I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect on the profound lesson we have just witnessed. A lesson that transcends a single event in a Los Angeles shopping mall and speaks to the core of who we are as individuals and as a society. If this story of compassion, confrontation, and transformation has moved you, I urge you to take a simple but powerful step. Give this video a like and subscribe to the Healthy Heart channel. Here, we're committed to sharing stories that don't just entertain, but touch the soul, ignite meaningful change, and inspire a world where empathy and understanding reign supreme. Every story we tell is a spark, a reminder that we all have the power to reshape the world around us, one act of kindness at a time. In the first pinned comment below, you will find a link to download your copy of the ebook The Secret of the Rich, 7 Steps to Financial Abundance. This is just a guide to financial success. It's a roadmap to living a life of purpose, generosity, and impact. It's a resource that has already transformed the lives of thousands by showing them that true abundance isn't measured by bank accounts or possessions, but by the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. Download it today, dive into its wisdom, and let it guide you toward a future where your actions reflect the values Mr. Millionaire so powerfully demonstrated. But don't stop there. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, whether it's a friend, a family member, a colleague, or even a stranger whose day might be brightened by this story. Share it on social media, in group chats, or in conversations around the dinner table. Let's amplify this lesson far and wide, sparking discussions about prejudice, empathy, and the kind of world we want to build together. Imagine the ripple effect. One share could inspire someone to act with kindness, to challenge injustice, or to see the humanity in a person they might have overlooked. Together, we can create a movement, a global wave of compassion that dismantles barriers and replaces judgment with understanding. Because, as Mr. Millionaire so eloquently taught us, true wealth isn't in what you have, but in what you do with it. These words aren't just a catchy phrase. They're a call to action, a challenge to redefine success in a world obsessed with appearances and material gain. True wealth lies in the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. It's in the humility to recognize our own biases and strive to do better. It's in the small, everyday choices we make, to offer a smile, to lend a hand, to listen to someone's story without judgment. It's in the way we treat the person who seems different, the one society might tell us to ignore. That's the wealth that endures, the kind that builds communities, heals divides, and leaves the world a little brighter than we found it. So, let's commit to carrying this lesson forward. Let's be the kind of people who see beyond the surface, who choose empathy over indifference, who use whatever we have, be it time, resources, or influence, to uplift others. Let's challenge the status quo, just as Mr. Millionaire did, by questioning prejudice wherever we encounter it, in our workplaces, our neighborhoods, our schools, and even within ourselves. Let yes build a world where respect is reserved for those who fit a certain mold, but is extended to every human being, regardless of their circumstances, appearance, or story. This is more than a story. It's a movement. It is an invitation to join a growing community of people who believe that change starts with us. By liking, subscribing, downloading the ebook, and sharing this video, you're not just engaging with a moment of inspiration, you're becoming part of a collective effort to make empathy the cornerstone of our society. You're saying yes to a vision of a world where no one is humiliated for their clothes, where no one is turned away for their struggles, where every person is seen, valued, and respected. Let's honor the courage of Mr. Millionaire, the resilience of the actor, and the quiet kindness of Sarah, the cashier who offered a glass of water when no one else did. Let's honor the transformations of Brad, Tony, and Mike, who learned from their mistakes and chose a better path. And most importantly, let's honor the potential within each of us to be agents of change. Together, we can ensure that stories like this don't just fade into memory, but become the foundation for a more compassionate, equitable, and hopeful future. So, take that first step today. Like this video, subscribe to Healthy Heart, download The Secret of the Rich, and share this story with the world. Let's make Mr. Millionaire's message echo far beyond the walls of the Century City Mall, reaching hearts and minds across the globe. Because, in the end, the truest wealth we can possess is the power to make a difference, and that power lies within every single one of us. Let's use it to build a world where love, respect, and humanity always come first.